there book friends, I'm Addie and you are now watching Books and Tea Time, and today we're doing something unprecedented because I've always been one of those people who was like, I'm not gonna make a TBR, right? Because I'm a mood reader, and what will happen is I'll make a list every month of the books that I'm gonna read. And then I will read one of those and 6 different ones that I didn't even mention. I don't know, I can't be tamed when it comes to TBRs, right? So I'm not gonna call this a TBR, all right? We're not gonna put that label on it. It's my January reading plans. I am gonna try really hard for 1 month to stick to this plan because it's the beginning of the year and I have so many books on my radar. My TBR shelf is massive. I have loads and loads of books that I really want to get to, and I have no way of deciding where to go next. I have no direction, okay? I'm lost at sea, in the middle of a sea of books, and I needed help. So, part of this video is that I played Jesse's deck of TBR, and I picked 4 cards. I rolled a dice and I rolled 4. So I selected 4 cards from Jesse's deck of TBR. Jesse is a beloved and amazing booktuber here on Booktube, the platform, and they made their very own TBR cards, which is super interesting and fun, and they all have prompts on them. I have done this once before where I read 5 books in 5 days, and it's more of like a reading vlog style, so I'll have a card to that video if you want to see me using these cards in that video. But today we're going to do something a little different, and so I pulled 4 cards and I have 4 books that correspond with those 4 cards, and then at the end of the month I am gonna do not a whole wrap up for everything I read in January, but I'm gonna do a TBR card specific wrap up where we just chat very casually about those 4 books that I read, just because I wanted to use these cards, play the game, have some fun, and also use them to help me figure out what I'm going to read next. And then we have a couple other books that are on my radar. Let's start then with the 4 books that I selected for these 4 cards that I got. So as I said, I rolled the dice and I got a 4, so I had to pick 4 cards, and the very first prompt that I got is the Akweke Emezi card, and it says to read an own voices book or comic with a trans spectrum protagonist. And for this one I'm going straight to the source, and I'm going to be reading Freshwater by Akweke Emezi, for whom this card was named, because Jesse is a absolute huge fan of Akweke Emezi and their writing, and I've heard amazing things about all of the books by Akweke Emezi, and this is an author that I really want to read all of their works throughout the entire year 2022. So we have Freshwater, Pet, they came out with their memoir this year, Dear Sentherin, and they are also in the process, I think, of writing an adult romance, which is really cool. And so I just want to start somewhere, and I believe this is their debut novel. Oh, The Death of Vivek Oji, that's the other one, and I know a lot of people have really loved that one. So yeah, we're starting first with Freshwater, and this is about a young girl named Ada who grows up in Nigeria and then I believe comes to America to study at a university, and while they're on campus, a particular traumatic event on campus crystallizes the selves into something powerful and potentially dangerous. After that, the next card that I pulled was Thunderbird Woman, and this is inspired by Thunderbird Woman Reads, aka Danny, who is a bookstagrammer and a booktuber. She has her very own book club called the Indigenous Reading Circle, which I am very interested and excited to like casually participate in throughout this year. So yes, this prompt is to read a book by an Indigenous author, as it is inspired by an Indigenous creator on the platform, and this is absolutely perfect. When I pulled this, I instantly knew what I was going to read, and that is The Sentence by Louise Erdrich. I just hauled this in my birthday haul. My really great friend Marissa just read this and she really liked it. This takes place during the time period of exactly 1 year, from November 2019 to November 2020, so it does take place during the pandemic, and I believe we are following a character who has just been released from prison, and they're working at an independent bookstore, and one of the patrons from the bookstore dies and then haunts that bookstore. I've just been drawn to this book and I really want to read it. It says that Louise Erdrich creates a wickedly funny ghost story, a tale of passion, of a complex marriage, and of a woman of a Woman's Relentless Errors. Louise Erdrich is another author that I want to read more from in 2022. I want to read The Night Watchman, which I've also heard great things about, and I believe she also has some middle grade fiction. So we'll see where 2022 takes us as far as Louise Erdrich reading goes. After that, the next prompt that I got was Fixer Upper. It's a BIPOC retelling of a classic story, and this book also happens to be the NB Book Club January pick. NB Book Club is the non-binary book club hosted and created by Jessie, who also made the TBR cards. I'm a Jessie stan. Sue me. I don't know. I love them so much. And great recommendations, great content. I cannot praise their channel enough. They do these annotate with me videos. They make a lot of great reading vlogs. They have a monthly reading vlog and live show where they read and promote sapphic books called Sapphicathon, and they're just so funny. The humor is amazing. I will never stop singing their praises, okay? And so I really want to be good about actually attending the live shows for MB Book Club this year, because I read a lot of the books and then I never go to the live show because I just am chaotic and I'm a mess. So this year, one of my resolutions is to attend the live shows for MB Book Club, and the MB Book Club pick for January is She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. I actually started this a little bit ago. I believe I'm on like page 70 or something. I think I'm just going to restart and I'm going to annotate this time around and really sit with it, because sometimes this happens to me where I start a book and I know that I want to annotate it, but I'm being lazy and I don't want to like get out my highlighters and my stickies, so I just keep reading, but I like do it lazily because I know that I'm gonna have to reread it to start the annotating process. And so like I kind of fell out of the reading of this, if that makes sense. So like I started it and stopped reading it, but I'm gonna start over, I'm gonna annotate, and I'm going to read it in January. This is a Mulan inspired retelling, and I know there are a lot of trans characters in it and a lot of wonderful queerness in this book, and I believe people also say that it's like Song of Achilles-esque too. So I'm over the moon excited about it. Rebecca Roanhorse blurbs it, S.A. Chakraborty blurbed it on the back. This is written by Shelley Parker Chan, who is a BIPOC author and foregrounding BIPOC characters in this retelling. So I'm excited to be reading this bad boy and to use it to cover that prompt and also to participate in the MB Book Club this month. The last prompt that I pulled is the antagonist card, and this you are supposed to read a book that your favorite villain would read. And so I was thinking about villains and thinking about villains that I like, and I could not narrow it down. So first of all, I decided that this time around I'm going to look specifically at like Disney villains that I really like. And then maybe I'll make this a regular thing. Like, I'm very inspired by this card. I think this is a super fun idea. And I would love to do a whole reading vlog where I pick like 3 or 4 villains and I read 3 or 4 books that I think that they would read. Like, I could do a Disney villain version of it. I could do like a DC Marvel villain version of it, a book specific villain version of it, and just really go all out with it. Reading books that like I think my favorite villains or anti-heroes would read. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. But I was just very inspired by this card. The 2 characters that I came up with, I haven't decided yet, but I was thinking of Cruella and Scar. If I go with Cruella, I have 2 books in mind that I think that I could read. First, I was thinking Misery, right? Because this is about a woman who kidnaps an author and forces him to write a sequel to her favorite book. And I just feel like that's something Cruella would absolutely do. Like, she's crazy. There's nothing that woman won't do to get what she wants, right? When you're thinking about like Cruella in the movie, or also when you're thinking about like Emma Stone's very new version of Cruella that paints her as like an anti-heroine. You've got like the wintry cabin vibes, and like in the 101 Dalmatians cartoon, it's winter time, and when I think of like Hell Hall in the winter time, and like it's dilapidated and it's snowing and there's just shady business going down, and like she kidnaps all those puppies. So I feel like there's a connection there. But then also, if I don't read this, I just got a notification that this book is ready for me to pick up at the library tomorrow when I go into work, and it is Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey. I don't know if I'm saying that right. but this is a book that I have been really wanting to read. It's fairly new, and it's about a biologist who travels to Scotland to reintroduce wolves into the natural landscape, and then I think someone in and around where they release the wolves mysteriously dies, and they have to find out if they were murdered or if one of the wolves attacked them. And I think that's really cool, and like the creepy idea of it, but also wolves and dogs kind of relate, and I'm thinking about like what Corella would want to read. So those were my two options if I do Corella. And then if I do Scar, I was thinking of maybe reading No Gods, No Monsters by Cadwell Turnbull. I need to read this book, okay? I've had it out from the library for longer than I care to admit. I read The Lesson by Cadwell Turnbull last year and I really loved it. It was a sci-fi story, very well written, very creepy, eerie, interesting. This is his newest release, his newest novel, and I am so intrigued by the premise of this book. It says, as creatures from myth and legend come out of the shadows seeking safety through visibility, their emergence sets off a chain of seemingly unrelated events. Members of a local werewolf pact are threatened into silence. A professor follows a missing friend's trail of breadcrumbs to a mysterious secret society, and a young boy with unique abilities seeks refuge in a pro-monster organization with secrets of its own. Meanwhile, more people start disappearing, suicides and hate crimes increase, and protests erupt globally, both for and against these monsters. I'm so confused, but also so intrigued. Rebecca Roanhorse blurbed it on the back, Peter Jelly Clark blurbed it on the back. Even if I don't read this for the Scar prompt, I might just read it in general in January, and if I don't read it in January, I'll definitely make a priority to get to it in February. So those are the 4 books that I'm going to read for those prompts. As for other reading plans for video ideas and vlog ideas that I have for January, I am going to be reading and filming the 4th installment of my Stormlight Archive reading vlogs. I do spoiler-filled reading vlogs for all of the Stormlight books, and this month I'm reading Rhythm of War. I am like 5% of the way done with this book. I'm on page 82. I don't know if I'm going to finish it in January, to be honest with you guys, especially if I'm reading all of these other books, but this is something that's on my radar in January, and a video that I'm going to be filming throughout the month of January is my spoiler Rhythm of War reading vlog. So if you wanted updates on that, it is coming. I am so not ready to read this book and to be caught up, because then what am I gonna have to do? I'm gonna have to wait until fall of 2023, perhaps spring of 2024. I can't wait that long. I'm also going to be filming a secret video that involves a book that will remain unnamed for now. I'm doing a 1-star prediction reading vlog, and it's also going to be a spoiler reading vlog. I don't typically do that. It's just kind of weird that they're lapping up. I'm reading a book that I said I would never read, that I think that I'm going to dislike, but that people have in my life and online have convinced me I need to investigate it. Is the hype real? I don't think so, but we're going to find out together. So that is a book on the list. It is a secret book. I also have some ebooks on my new e-reader that I got for Christmas that I am literally obsessed with. I love this thing already, I can tell you. If I'm in the mood for romance, I have the ebook for Shipped by Angie Hockman. If I were to read a romance this month, I think that's the one that I would read. And then also, I really want to read Dragon Pearl by Yoon Ha Lee. This is a middle grade book. It's part of like the Rick Riordan Presents series, and I want to read this firstly because I believe the second book is either the February or the March pick for the NB Book Club, and so I want to read the first one in the series so that I can do that. And also because I really want to read a lot of the Rick Riordan Presents books this year, because I'm back in like my mythology grind, and I think it will be fun and like nice palette cleansers to read middle grade. But there are like so many really cool series out there that follow different mythologies and like adapt different mythological stories from various pantheons, whether it's like Mayan mythology, Hindu mythology, Korean mythologies, African and African American mythological traditions. I'm looking forward to reading a lot of those this year, and so we're gonna start with Dragon Pearl by Yoon Ha Lee. I actually don't know anything about this really. I just know that the second one is an MB book club pick, so I'm gonna try and get to the ebook for that because I have that from the library and I downloaded it. So that is that. Those are the books that are on my radar. My tentative reading plans for January. And we'll see how this goes. I'm a mood reader at heart and I have no shame about that. It's just I want a little structure because I get very overwhelmed by the volume of books on my TBR. Let me know what you want to read in January. What are some books on your January TBR or your January plans if you're like me and you don't want to commit to a TBR? Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. It means the world to me. I love you all. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if that's your jam. And I hope to see you in my next video. Happy reading, happy writing, and happy living. Peace out.